Think back to 5, maybe 10 years ago. Do you remember what your life looked like? What kind of car were you driving? What did your apartment smell like? More importantly, do you remember your magic number? Most of us had one. It was that specific salary figure. Maybe it was $50,000 or $75,000 or perhaps $100,000. You told yourself, if I can just hit that number, I'll finally be okay. I'll stop worrying about the price of groceries. I'll feel successful. I'll be rich. Fast forward to today. For many of you listening, you've hit that number. In fact, you might have surpassed it. By the standards of your younger self, you are currently living the dream. You have the promotions, the upgraded living space, and the capability to buy things you once only scrolled past on a screen. But here is the uncomfortable truth. You don't feel rich. In fact, you might feel more financially strained now than you did when you were making half as much. Your stress hasn't disappeared. It has simply changed shape. Instead of worrying about rent, you're worrying about the mortgage. Instead of worrying about a $500 car repair, you're worrying about a $5,000 home renovation. Why does the finish line keep moving? Why is it that no matter how much we earn, enough is always just 20% more than what we currently have? Today we are going to dive deep into the psychology of wealth, the biology of desire, and the invisible machine that keeps you running in place, the hedonic treadmill. To understand why you don't feel rich, we have to look at how your brain is wired. This isn't a character flaw, it's a biological survival mechanism. In the 1970s, psychologists Philip Brickman and Donald Campbell introduced a concept that would change how we view human happiness forever, the hedonic treadmill. The theory suggests that as a person makes more money or achieves more success, their expectations and desires rise in tandem. The result? No net gain in happiness. Let's look at the most famous study on this topic. In 1978, researchers interviewed two groups of people at opposite ends of the luck spectrum: lottery winners and victims of catastrophic accidents who were now paralyzed. Common sense tells us the lottery winners should be ecstatic and the accident victims should be miserable. But that's not what happened. After just 1 year, the lottery winners' levels of happiness had dropped back down to near baseline levels. Even worse, they reported finding less joy in ordinary pleasures, like reading a book or eating a good meal, than they did before they won. Their pleasure threshold had been set so high that everyday life felt dull. Why did our brains evolve this way? Evolutionarily, satisfaction was a death sentence. If our ancestors were perfectly content after finding one patch of berries, they wouldn't have the drive to keep searching for more food to survive the winter. We are hardwired to be seekers, not winners. Your brain is designed to normalize your surroundings as quickly as possible so that you stay alert for the next threat or the next opportunity. When you get a raise, your brain gives you a shot of dopamine. It feels incredible for about 3 months. Then your brain recalibrates. It accepts that new $10,000 a month as the new normal. It stops noticing the luxury and starts looking for the next level. This is hedonic adaptation, and it is the reason your magic number is a ghost that disappears the moment you reach it. While biology starts the fire, our culture pours gasoline on it. This is where we talk about the physical manifestation of the treadmill, lifestyle inflation. Lifestyle inflation is the process where your wants slowly but surely become needs. When you were a student, a $10 meal felt like a luxury. When you started your first job, you moved to a nicer area. When you got your first big promotion, you decided you deserved a better car. None of these decisions feel bad in the moment. In fact, they feel like progress. But look at the data. In 2023, a report from Bank of America revealed that 52% of people making between $100,000 and $150,000 a year live paycheck to paycheck. Think about that. These are people in the top 20% of earners, yet they have no breathing room. Why? Because as their income grew, they allowed their expenses to grow at exactly the same rate or faster. The social comparison engine. We also live in the age of performative wealth. Through social media, we're constantly bombarded with the highlight reels of others. You aren't just comparing your car to your neighbor's Impala, you're comparing it to influencers, celebrities, and the top 1% of the world. When you see a friend post a photo of their new kitchen renovation, your brain experiences a relative deprivation. You didn't think your kitchen was bad 10 minutes ago, but now, suddenly, it feels outdated. This is the social comparison engine, and it keeps us spending money we don't have to impress people we don't even like. We have become delivery agents for our own salaries. The money enters our bank account and immediately leaves to pay for the upgraded version of a life we were already perfectly happy with a year ago. There's a deeper psychological trap at play here called the arrival fallacy. This is the illusion that once we arrive at a certain destination, we'll reach a permanent state of happiness. Once I'm a partner at the firm, once I have $1 million in my 401k, once I buy that house on the hill. The arrival fallacy is dangerous because it turns your present life into a waiting room for a future that may never come, or a future that, when it does arrive, won't feel the way you expected. Research in the field of positive psychology shows that humans are actually happiest when they are in the process of working towards a goal, not when they finally achieve it. The neurochemical hit comes from the anticipation of the vacation, not necessarily the vacation itself. When you hit your financial goal, the thing that gave you purpose and drive, is gone. This is why many people who achieve sudden financial independence feel a deep sense of depression or listlessness. They realize that the money didn't change who they are. If you are an anxious person at $40,000, you'll likely be an anxious person at $400,000. You'll just have more expensive things to be anxious about. You cannot solve an internal problem with an external solution. If you are using money to fill a hole in your self-worth or to cure a sense of inadequacy, no amount of money will ever be enough because the hole is bottomless. So how do we step off? How do we stop the treadmill without giving up on our ambitions? We have to change the rules of the game. Here are 3 tactical ways to reclaim your peace. Strategy 1. The lifestyle anchor. Most people's expenses follow their income like a shadow. To break this, you need a lifestyle anchor. From this day forward, decide that you will never spend 100% of a raise. If you get a $10,000 increase in your annual salary, commit to a 50-50 split. $5,000 goes to improving your life today, maybe a nicer gym membership or a better grocery budget. The other $5,000 goes directly into an investment account before you ever see it. By anchoring your lifestyle, you ensure that your freedom grows faster than your consumption. Strategy 2. Negative visualization. This sounds depressing, but it is a powerful stoic tool for happiness. Once a week, spend 5 minutes vividly imagining that you lost everything. Imagine you lost your job tomorrow. Imagine you had to move back into that tiny apartment from 5 years ago. Feel the fear. Now, open your eyes and look around. You realize that the life you currently have is the life you once prayed for. This mental reset breaks the adaptation cycle. It forces your brain to stop taking your current success for granted. Gratitude is the only known biological antidote to the hedonic treadmill. Strategy 3. Optimize for time, not stuff. Material goods are the easiest things to adapt to. You stop seeing your new TV after a week. But time is a non-renewable resource that provides a much higher happiness ROI. Instead of buying a better car, use that money to move closer to work so you have a 10-minute commute instead of an hour.
Use that money to outsource tasks you hate, like cleaning or laundry. A 2017 study proved that people who buy time report significantly higher life satisfaction than people who buy material goods. Every dollar you invest is a time voucher you are buying for your future self. As we wrap up, I want to leave you with one thought. The word rich is a trap because it is a comparative term. To be rich, you must have more than someone else. But wealth is different. True wealth is the ability to live life on your own terms. It is the ability to say no to a job you hate. It is the ability to be present for your family. The hedonic treadmill only wins if you keep running, but you have the power to step off. You step off the moment you decide that enough is a number, not a feeling. Look at your life today, not through the lens of what you're missing, but through the lens of how far you've come. You are likely already living the dream of a younger version of yourself. Don't let that version of you down by being miserable now. Stop running, start living, and realize that you might already be richer than you think.